Hello. In this particular video, we'll be talking about Ansible. So I'm sharing my screen. If you can see, these are all topics that we are going to cover. So I'll be talking about what is Ansible and its role in automation, and we'll discuss the benefits of the Ansible and how we can install and set up the Ansible. Uh, some of the important concepts of Ansible, like what is inventory file, how can we write the Ansible playbook, what are variables and facts, and how we can use them in the playbook, and how we can what is the role, I mean, and what is how we can use the roles to make our code or playbook modularized and uh, easy to maintain. I mean, then we'll be talking about Ansible Galaxy, which is where we can keep our roles, and then we'll talking about best practices and the tips. Yeah, so let's start with the first thing is like what is Ansible. So Ansible is a configuration management tool. uh, it is also used to create the infrastructure. uh, so Ansible is a agentless tool, and it works based on SSH connectivity. So we need to establish the SSH connectivity between the controller machine and the target machines. Yeah, and then what are the benefits of Ansible? So Ansible is like a simple and it's agentless. We don't need to install any agents, like I said, uh, and it works on based on the SSH mechanism. So now let's talk about how we can install the Ansible and set up. So I have this file, so let me show it to you. So based on different operating systems, there are different commands which we can use to install Ansible. And even before installing, there are some things like dependencies and requirements that we need to ensure that those are in place. So if we talk about Linux, the first thing is like we need to have a Python installed. So make sure that you have Python installed before doing anything else on Linux machine. So similarly for Mac OS, you need to have this Xcode command line tool. So get Xcode and then install the command line tool, and then with using this homebrew command, you can install the Ansible on Mac. So this is all about installation of Ansible on a different operating system. On Windows, actually Ansible is not designed to work with Windows, but if you want, I mean, we can install on Windows as well. So, but we're not going to cover that particular thing here. So the next thing is like Ansible Inventory. So what is Ansible Inventory? Let's say you have Ansible Playbook, which has uh, written some tasks to perform some operations and that you want to execute on a remote machines. So so the information about the remote machine or the host is specified in a file called as inventory file. So where we'll have uh, groups, and within the groups, like we'll have like different hosts. For example, like a web server is a group, and then we can have like host 1, host 2, something like that. And there are two different types of inventory file. One is static inventory and dynamic inventory. So let me show you this thing, which and from let me go to the top. So yeah, one more thing is like by default, the default location of the inventory file is /etc /ansible/host. But you can I mean, change. You can have your own inventory file in a either .ini or .yaml format, and you can specify this inventory file while executing your playbook with -i option. So if you see the .ini format, it looks like this. So we have this group of servers, and this web server is a group name, which is specified in the square bracket, and beneath that we have this host names, and this is a YAML format. Uh, so so within this web servers group, we have this hosts, and host is nothing but a list of hosts basically, uh, specified using hyphen option. Both syntax are valid. You can decide like which one you have to use based on the readability and which suits your need. Um, then there is a concept of dynamic inventory. Dynamic inventory is basically useful in a scenario or environment where the hosts or machines are created and destroyed dynamically and more frequently. For example, like in a cloud environment. So there, for Ansible uses basically the scripts for AWS and Azure and the other clouds. Uh, so to dynamically create the inventory file while at the runtime, I mean. Okay, so this is the command like Ansible playbook hyphen I, and then the your playbook, the script, dynamic script basically, and followed by the playbook. So this talks about your inventory file. Uh, Now let's come back to this content or agenda. So next thing what we are going to talk is variables and facts. Okay, so even before that, I want to talk about, I think, yeah, it's a Ansible playbook. And let's go to this playbook. So you might be wondering, so this playbook script, right? So how it looks like. So you can see on my screen, right? This is basic syntax of Ansible playbook, where anything with this hash is comment, and playbook can have basically so many plays. So one of the play I have written here. So so this name is nothing but the name of the play. So for example, here we are installing Apache on web servers, and host is nothing but on which uh, machine so this play will be executed once we run the playbook. So in this case, like it's a group which is specified in the inventory file, which is a web server. On this web server, it will be installing the Apache. And then we have become. So this particular tag is used to execute your playbook with elevated privileges or pseudo privileges. So all the tasks within the this particular play will be executed with root privileges. And there, then after that, we have this tag which is called as tasks. So here, actual scripts or commands that we are going to execute. So those are defined under this section, which is tasks. So so you can see I have written a different tasks. So this tasks tag, we under this sections we have like different. It's we can have a list, or we are having a list of tasks. So first task is update package repositories. So we are saying update cache equal to yes, and for that we are using apt module from the Ansible. So module is uh, module is a kind of package, or module is um, module is basically used to perform some operation or some command, or to execute some scripts in Ansible. So uh, Ansible has very well documentation for this. Like we can explore and we can use the modules based on our needs. So as you can see here, so this is apt module. So what we are really doing is here is like updating the package, and next is like installing Apache package. For that, we are saying like name is Apache 2 and state is present, so that install Apache package will get installed. So one thing I missed to tell you is that like this when directory, when we are including in our tasks, so it will execute this task on a conditional basis. Like if this particular condition is met, then only it will execute this task. So when Ansible distribution is Ubuntu, so this is nothing but it's like one of the Ansible fact. So anyways, we are going to talk about it little later. Uh, yeah, so for now, moving on. So this particular task, what it is going to do is, anyways, we have already installed the Apache. So this is going to what it is doing. So see, name, start Apache service, and service, then specifying name and state is started. So it is going to start the Apache service. Okay. So this is just example of one play. So similarly, you can have multiple plays, one below another, and yeah, this is there can be some other elements in your playbook. For example, we can have a var section will where we can define the variables. So that, I think that is our next topic. So variables and facts. So let's move on to this topic, which is variables and facts. Okay, let me take you to this file. Yeah. So variables is nothing but it holds some values which we can use in our playbook, so that our uh, playbook becomes easy to read, and we can have we can read I mean avoid the duplication of the code and reuse the things wherever possible. So we can define the variables and use them within our playbook, like in a different tasks. So at different levels we can define the variables. One is at the playbook levels, like I said, there is var section in our playbook where we can have this variables. So for example, here we have defined two variables like http port and app name. Left side is a key and right side is a value. So in YAML, everything we have is like key value structure, and I mean separated by a semicolon. So if we talk about the tasks here, so again we are what we are doing is we're ensuring that Apache is installed and configuring the Apache. So here we are having this template module. Previously we have seen like apt module, and what it is doing is it's taking the source file, which is .j2 jinja2 templating file. It's just one of the extension of the file, and then it is copying that to the destination with name uh, as this one, app name. So what is this app name? The app name is a variable. So when we have to use this variable in a task, so we have to always enclose that within like double curly braces. So this is a syntax of Jinja to templating. And then like once we configure, for example, once we are copying this configuration file to the destination directory on the target machine, then what we are going to do is we want to restart the Apache service because we did some configuration changes. So whenever we do some configuration changes and we want to perform some actions, right? So then we'll use the notified directory and it will call a handler, which is nothing but restart Apache. So, so that is the next concept. So handler is nothing but just one of the tasks which will be executed when notified. Okay, so next, uh, so we have seen like defining variables at playbook level. So apart from that, we can define variables at the host level. So for example, we can create host vars under inventory, and within the host vars, we can have a var specific, I mean the host specific var file. For example, you can see here host var sections. I have created one web1 example.com.yaml file, and there we have defined this one of the variable which is specific to that particular host. And so this was the second type, which is defining a variable at host level. So similarly, under the inventory section, we can have a variable defined at the group level. So by creating group vars, right? So so this is how it will look like. So we have like previously in inventory, we have seen like we have web servers is one of the group and database as another group. So we can have group specific variable files, and there we can define those specific variables, for example, app name and web app. Then coming to the next topic, which is facts in Ansible. So facts Facts is nothing but it's information about the remote system, uh, which Ansible gathers during its playbook execution as a first thing, and it represents the information about system configuration and network related information. And if we want to display all the facts for a specific host, we can use this Ansible ad hoc commands, which is Ansible-m setup and then host name, right? So, so this is example of how we can use the variable I mean in a playbook, so that we have already seen, and then talking about using facts. So let's say Ansible, like I said, right? Ansible always gathers facts when we run the playbook as a first thing. And like if you want to use that facts within our task, so we can do that. So for example, I have written here one task, which is display system facts. So it's name of the task, and it's using a debug module. So if we have to print something on a screen, then we always use a debug module. And uh, here we have written like where, and what variable it's going to use is like Ansible facts. So Ansible facts is nothing but Ansible underscore facts is nothing but a dictionary which holds all the variables which Ansible gets from remote machines. So we can print either all entire dictionary or some of the variables from that dictionary as well. So yeah, so let's say for example, if you want to print Ansible OS family, so we can directly use that variable, or we can refer it like this format, Ansible fact, and then square bracket and in single quote the variable name. So next thing is Ansible Galaxy. So Ansible Galaxy is a place where we can keep our roles, or we can use roles created by somebody else. So let's talk about the roles. So roles make us our Ansible code more modular, easy to maintain, and yeah, and so it simplifies basically the structure of the Ansible code, because in big projects, it will be easy. It makes sense to use roles so that our code becomes more modular and reusable. So this is how the structure of the structure of roles is. So we have tasks in that we have main.yaml, we have handlers, main.yaml templates, where we have different .j2 files, and files like if you want to copy some of the files from your repo directly into the target machine, so then we can keep it here. And then we have vars directory where we can have a variable sections. So if you want to use some of the default things, so then we can keep it under these sections, right? And meta, for example, if you want to use some other roles, then you can keep it under this meta main.yml. So Ansible will look for those things and install those roles automatically. Then talking about like how we can create a role, so we can use simply this command, Ansible Galaxy init, and then the role name. And if we and let's see how we can use the role in a playbook, right? In order to use the role in a playbook, simply we have to use the role sections in your playbook, and then you have to give a name of the role. So by default, Ansible will look for the roles in like role/directory, right? But uh, if you don't have that specific role and you want to use it from the Galaxy, then you can simply use this kind of thing, like where you need to specify the source basically from where you want to use that role. Yeah. And yeah, like I said, right, dependencies we can mention in like meta main.yaml things. Yeah, this is all about the Ansible that we have seen. Uh, I think that's it for today. Thank you for your time, and do let me know your feedback on this. Thank you.